Okay, it works finally. So yeah, it's very frustrating when like yeah, I've done like how long have I been doing streaming? I've been doing streaming for a while, and sometimes like still give me like puzzles and stuff. So how's everybody? We are doing another live stream, and so today is more like kind of we are just chatting. Kind of can I see the chat right now? Yeah, I can see the chat. Okay, good. So it's more like it's more like we are chatting rather than kind of me demonstrating something, because I know it has been a question that I've been asked so many times that like how do you start open source, like how to not create those things that just like trying to make a pull request and win a t-shirt kind of situation. um so so that's why I think it's good to kind of have this thing that I'm going to show you what I've done in the past. But I have to confess first, I haven't contributed like to open source project for a while, just because I was quite busy. So last time I contributed a lot was kind of like after PyCon US. We have a kind of sprint time, so that's why like I have time to do a lot of contribution, which is great. So one of the contribution is, I think I can show you this one, which is my contribution to PyTest. I was quite proud of it, and it's actually good to show that it's not here. It's actually good to show you like how a very good kind of contribution experience would be like, and how to get started. So first of all, this is an issue that I've tackled during the sprint. So a very good place to start your open source contribution journey is to join a sprint. So what is a sprint and where can you find a sprint? So a lot of open source project, they would participate these kind of event called sprints, where people generally like sit together. Well, I'm talking about before pandemic. Almost 100% of them is like people sit together in a room, and the maintainer or some people who are more experienced will be there, and then you can work with them through some of the selected issue that the maintainer selected and really want help with, and you work towards that, right? So that is a very kind of easy way to start, because there will be people there to help you, that you have mentors. So a lot of times you find this event maybe after the conference, because conference tend to gather a lot of people with similar interests. So there will be sprints that after the conference. So next time you go to the conference, make sure you check whether there's a sprint, and maybe think about, when you plan your journey, think about staying for the sprint, and be there to meet great people. So the other is like sometimes there will be events that organize specifically just to do the sprint that could happen as well. And especially now after the pandemic, during the pandemic, the only thing we can do is to do online event. So there will be a lot of online sprints, and nowadays it happens to have maybe a mix of both. So if you kind of like, oh, I don't travel a lot for my personal like have situation, I don't travel to conference, I don't travel a lot, then joining this online event could be a possibility for you. So if those so none of those is your option, I think the best thing is to find a friend who maybe have more experience in certain projects that you can maybe ask them to help you to be your mentor, because I think having a mentor to help you go through this contributions process really helps, because you would have more understanding about the project. Usually these mentors could be the maintainer, or could be someone who has been contributing for a long time. They understand the project, they work with the maintainer before as well. So that would be the perfect person to ask them nicely whether they are willing to help. For example, this one is one of the pull requests. I've get it merged into PyTest. So PyTest is a testing suite that is quite popular in Python. So this is one of the issues that I've tackled. So you can see a good pull request usually would explain what you have done, also have an issue that is attached. So usually the pull request is not just you know, of course you can initiate a pull request, for example, fixing something, but a lot of them is first of all there is a problem that has been reported in the first place, and you try to fix that problem. For example, let's say if you found a bug in one of the library that you use, and you really want to fix that, right? You kind of know what's going on and you want to fix it. I think the first thing you can do is to open an issue, to report the issue first, and if you're lucky, you know, the maintainer, if they have time, they would quickly kind of like discuss about like, oh, what would be the ideal fix for this issue. You can even like say in the pull request, for example, in the issue, like, oh, I actually find a fix, and I would also send in a pull request, and we can work together. So you can do that as well. But I think it's always a good practice if you find a bug to open an issue first, and then if you know the fix, you can open a pull request, and then you can use the GitHub feature to link both. For example, this one you said like closes this issue, then those two will be linked, right? So if you work to like if you open that and then sometimes the oops, oh, we got an oopsie from GitHub for some reason. Oops. Okay, let me just talk through that before. Like, I hope GitHub came back after. So usually those two will be linked. So you have like the pull request will link to the issue, so that the maintainer, they can look at the issue and then look at your fix to see if that was the perfect thing to fix it. Because sometimes you can't just like fixing an issue without knowing the whole situation. It may be a better way to fix it, maybe because like sometimes there's a problem and you can find a workaround, or you can kind of fix it very deep down, right? At which level you want to fix that problem is sometimes the maintainer will have a better idea. So that's why it's always good to have an issue opened. And oh no, GitHub is playing up with I don't know what happened. Oh, okay, it's back. Good. GitHub, thank you. So so the best thing to do is to open an issue. So there's issues, you open an issue and then make a pull request. So let's go back to our pull request. Hopefully it's not an oopsies. Right, it's loading. So okay. Right, so this one, I think, particularly this one, I didn't open the issue, is opened by someone else, I think. And then this issue was flagged by one of the maintainer that is a good issue to tackle with for someone who may not be very senior and know much about the project, and people in the sprints could try it out. So and then so again, like if you if you didn't find the bug yourself, you want to look at something that maybe you can work on, look at the text, right? If you look at all those issues from, let's say, PyTest, so they would have something that got flagged, like features, enhancements, like plugins. So this is flagged by the maintainers. So none of them actually like kind of flag us like help or something. But during the sprint, maybe there will be more that has been flagged as like, oh, we need help, things like that. So yeah, unfortunately, there isn't much that has been flagged in this particular project. But for some other projects, sometimes they would be flagged as we want help or a beginners friendly kind of thing. So yeah, unfortunately there's none here at PyTest, but like for some other project or maybe at the sprints, there will be more that got flagged up is like beginners friendly. And so don't just randomly choose one, right? I mean, you could technically like, oh, I kind of understand this, right? I've done that, and I was like, I want to issues. So I kind of like, if you see one, you kind of like, oh, I kind of understand this, right? I want to tackle it, and I would say ask first, comment in the section below, like usually those issues will have lots of long discussion of people suggesting like why it could be so and how could be a potential fix be put in. If you read that and you feel confident that I can fix it, then you better to be like put in a comment saying like, hey, I want to give this a try. I will send in a PR in a bit, so hopefully it got fixed, right? Because sometimes there could be issues that the maintainer think is too complicated, they would rather fix it themselves because it may involve a lot of rewrite and things. So for those, it's not ideal to work with, especially when you are, if you just started with that project, you didn't know that project that well. again, like communication is very important. As you can see here, there's so many communications. And so this one I got, luckily I got Zach who helped me. He kind of helped me through this pull request, so it's not a solo effort on my part. And so it's good to always find someone who can help. Of course, like Zach would be busy nowadays. I haven't seen him for a while, so next time if I see him on a sprint, I can ask again whether he wants to help me sending some pull requests. But again, like, people could be busy. The best thing is to, like, if you both are attending a sprint, then you can of course ask in person very nicely. Oh, I want to work or contribute. I want to work on a pull request. Could you help me? But again, like, be nice to people. Or, people can be busy. So if you say, oh, they're busy, then respect that. So this one I have make a lot of different like pushes, because there's I have Zach as a mentor to review some of my code, and also like there's a lot of back and forth. So this is a very typical thing of a pull request that leads a lot of communication, a lot of thought about whether the fix would work in the big picture. Does it work for all the different Python version? Does it work? Does it not break other things? That's very important. So yeah, a lot of times, like, even there's like one small things, right? There will be some discussion among different maintainers that sometimes you have to be patient. The maintainers may have a discussion about how they want it to be fixed first. And a lot of times a pull request may take you quite a while. I have pull requests, well, the extreme is that I still have a pull request that has been there for years, but let's not talk about that. Sometimes pull requests, it depends on how busy the maintainers are. It could take a few weeks, right? So, usually within a week, hopefully, but it could take longer than that. And yeah, you can see there's a lot of this kind of thing. Sometimes fixing the formatting, I'm so horrible with the formatting. So for a project like PyTest, like very well-known big project, sometimes formatting are very important. Also, they will have rules about how you communicate. So sometimes, for example, for this fix, I also have to write things in the deprecated file. So I have to also contribute in the documentation, kind of documented what you have done. Sometimes you have to also put in the change log as well, like what things has been changed. So a good place to look at, usually at open source project, there will be a contribution guide. So for example, let's see, contributing.rst. So this one, like, again, when you look at the project, if you want to contribute to that project, before you send in the PR, make sure you read this, right? I know there's quite a lot of things, and I am, believe me, I am the person who hate reading things, but this is sometimes very important. For example, how to report a bug. Sometimes, it's very important to state what environment you're using. Just say like, oh, it's broken. State what the problem is, put the error message and detail what's going on and how to reproduce. That's very important. And when you fix bug, again, like, for example, PyTest, it say like, look at those easy issues. Don't look at those that, new features, maybe that's too complicated for beginners. And make sure you message, like, if you want to fix something, make sure you message to ask the maintainer. And also it's good to like tell them that you're working on it, right? So they can keep an eye when you send in a PR. And other thing, sometimes, for example, if you adding something new, you have to write test for it. You have to make sure the documentation is right. You may have to contribute a change log as well, because you may have changed something or fixed something. You have to write it in a change log, so when they release the new version with your change in it, with your contribution in it, it stay there. So everything should be documented very nicely in the contribution guide. Is also how to run the test as well. Sometimes, some project, they have a huge test suite, and you don't want to run all the tests all at once, right? You want to maybe kind of only run when you are fixing the part, that you only run that bit, and then before you push it, then you run the whole thing. So again, like, where to find those, where the tests are structured, do you need to do the formatting, pre-commit hook, all this stuff, they should be all written in the contribution guide. So please, please read those. Very important. For example, like how to write the test. It's like look nice. It's like also very important because, well, if you're contributing to PyTest, you should be, care about testing a lot, right? And also this also teach you how to fix some like Git thing, or Git like problem that you can also fix that. So very useful document. Make sure you read that before you contribute. So let's recap what I've talked about. So how long have we been going on for now? Like around 15 minutes? Okay. So let's recap. So I've been talking a lot, so it's not much to show. So first of all, you want to contribute to open source project. Very good thing to start with is to look at the project that you have been working on. Like, for example, I use PyTest every day. Then I look at PyTest. I look up the contribution guide. Very important. Look at the contributing RST, and then it suggests I look at EC. So I filter all the EC issues. These ones are usually a good place to start. And then maybe let's say, oh, this one is quite interesting. Looking at it, and then like, so what's the issue? What's the problem? And then see if someone has been already working on it. If they had it been abandoned, maybe you can pick it up from where they left off. So starting from there, and then you can say like, hey, I want to tackle this, and I will send in a PR in a bit, maybe within today or tomorrow. And then you again go back to the guide, right? Read what you have to do to of course you have to fix the bug, but also look at like, okay, so sometimes not just fixing the bug. It's like, how can I set up my test suite or my linting or my formatting to make sure that my contribution follow the exact same rule that I have to. Then you open a pull request. So again, there are a lot of resources about how you. So if you're new to Git, right? So this even more scarier. Like how do I make a pull request? How to how to. So first of all, you have to like your standard stuff. You would have to make a fork of the project. Click on the fork of the project, and then contribute to and then make a clone to your local environment, and then fix it. Set up all these like pre-commit hook, and then like fix the problem, test it, and then like open a new branch, whatever. Like push it to your own repo, and then make a pull request, and then run the whole test suite on GitHub. If it failed, why? And then fix it. Push again, and then sometimes maintainer will come in, commented on it. They may do a code review. That's the goal, right? You want someone to review your code, and that's where you can learn the most. That's where I learn the most as well. So make changes. Make sure you follow the guide. If you have to fill in the change log, fill that in. Follow all the stuff, and then going through the long process to get the PR, a green check, and a approval. And then you get it merged, go to the purple stage, like go get it merged, and then you will become a contributor of that project. That's great. So again, pull requests, making a pull request contributor to open source is a sometimes very long process. There's no shortcut to it. But throughout the process, you learn a lot. That's why I always recommend people, especially people who are starting out, to try. But again, it's not just about winning a t-shirt or whatever. It's about learning. So take your time. Make sure you communicate well. That's how you can learn, right? So so then like you can proudly be a contributor. Some project they would have a list of authors, so your name could be in here if your pull request got merged. So then you can be very proud and you learn a lot. The most important thing is the journey is to learn. So it has been a very short stream because I just want to chat with y'all about how to contribute open source. I hope it, again, like I have all the resources. There are very good videos on YouTube actually tell you what is open source? What is all these terms, like what is a fork here? What is, a upstream? What is those? Like, I will put those link in the description, and then you can use it as a reference to learn about open source, learn more about open source. If you have already been motivated, you want to contribute to open source, I hope this stream would help you to kind of know how is it like, so you have the right expectation about what is it like to contribute to open source and where to get started. Go to a sprint, find a mentor. That's very important. And it's not that scary. It just take a long time, but throughout the time, then you would learn a lot. So far it's been a very good experience, and I hope I have more time. And I hope, like, this year, if I go to PyCon US, I would stay for the sprint, and hope I have time to work more on the project. And sorry about like this short stream and not having a lot of demonstration this time, but a lot of talking. So that is my experience. And so what experience you have in open source, what struggle you have, again, I have to do the very cliche thing, drop down in the comment section below. And let me know, and let me know if this helped you, and so I can make more other stream that could help people as well. So yeah, that's it for me, and bye.